I'd like to introduce Zeina Arzaim. Zeina is the Polish pronunciation. Zeina is the Arabic pronunciation, right? So we have two different pronunciations for her. This is her third language. I just want to remind the committee, this is her third language in which she is speaking and writing. Impressive that it is. I just wanted to be mindful of that too. So if there are lapses in just sort of momentary fluency, it's because of language issues. And that's it. And Zeina, go ahead and introduce your topic, and then please go ahead and you can share your information with us.
Sure, absolutely. So I will share my screen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right away to the defense presentation. All right, screen here. All right, are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. All right. So, okay, okay. The slides, correct? Or the slides are visible? All right. Okay, perfect. So greetings everyone again, and thank you for being here today. And welcome to the dissertation defense titled Real World Learning, a Formative Program Evaluation of Integrating a Community-Based Service Learning Program into Foreign Language Course to develop into foreign language course to develop critical cultural awareness and foreign language skills. The purpose of this study was to investigate the effect of incorporating service learning pedagogy into foreign language education in Notre Dame of Maryland University. The research involved the analysis of previously gathered and de-identifying data from students who participated in the community-based service learning program called Youth Coach Success Volunteer Virtual Program during the spring semester of 2024. The focus was on understanding students' learning experiences and the benefits of this integrated approach for both the student and the community. In addition to the study, aimed to assess how NDMU institutional mission supports and contributes to service learning programs and its dedication to diverse communities, both on campus and off campus. Here we have research questions listed, addressed, and investigated in this study. The first question, the overreaching question, is what are student perceptions about integrating the community-based service learning language and core courses after participating in the program? And also, the study addressed three sub-questions that involve to what extent does service learning in language and cultural context affect student motivation to learn a foreign language and culture and community-based learning opportunities. Second sub-question was to investigate what skills and knowledge does the community engagement program really facilitate in student language acquisition and cultural awareness. Lastly, in the study was also addressed the question, how does a service learning program, specifically Youth Success Coach Volunteer Program, supports a second language and increases cultural awareness in student providing community service? Here we have the conceptual theoretical framework that divides into three critical phases in the study analysis. First is the formative purpose phase that includes David Kolb's experiential learning cycle theory. Secondly, we have the formative action phase where the students are interacted and with community members. Thirdly, we have the formative program evaluation outcomes phase that the study aimed to investigate. And that includes three areas: the foreign language, cultural awareness, and intercultural competency development. And thirdly, civic engagement that involves critical thinking, problem solving, and leadership skills. Moving forward, the methodology in the study included two instruments that involve weekly reflective journal entries from 10-week program where students involved in reflective writing. Also, 60-minute semi-structured interviews after the program concluded. Students were interviewed for 60 minutes, and the transcript of these interviews were available for for this study. In order to enhance the credibility and validity of this study, 4 strategies were used. First, data triangulation. Second, theory triangulation. Third, Bractic methods. Also, double coding methods was used to ensure the credibility of the study results. In addition to these 4 strategies, also Cohen and Keeble's open systems evaluation tool was used to ensure the credibility. And that involved analysis of the educational program itself. What is the problem statement of the program, activities involved in the program, outcomes of the program, and impacts of the program on, in this case, on our NGMU students. And here, note the diverse composition of the participants, which involves 6 female first-year students and 3 sophomores. They had diverse racial and ethnic backgrounds, with 3 identifying as a Hispanic Latino, 2 as a Black, and 1 as a white. Their ages ranged from 19 to 20 years old, and they brought diverse experiences in foreign language learning and distinct aspirations for future language acquisition. Understanding these demographic characteristics are crucial for gaining insight into their experiences, thought, and perspective. And here also for your review, I have included the demographic of mentees matched with our NGMU students. And as you see, the diversity of the community members who come from diverse places around the world. We have North Africa, Middle East, Guatemala, and Afghanistan. And also these community members, they bring diverse native languages into mutual learning for community service that was evaluated in this study. And the following themes and sub-themes presented here on this slide, the data analysis summary, shows the extensive amount of emerged themes and sub-themes, starting from the first research question that related to learning outcomes experienced by students in the program that addressed each research question listed here, showed a significant improvement in student knowledge, skills, attitudes, leading to a positive perception of the program as a service learning model for increasing language learning and cultural awareness. If we take a closer look on the research question number 1, as we see the sub-themes, authentic language learning, understanding communities' native language and cultures, then moving forward here, increased motivation after participating in the program. The data discovered that student motivation increased to learn languages and culture, and as well as to continue participating in community service. The research question number 3 was the most comprehensive in a sense of discovering the amount of skills and knowledge students gain within only 10 weeks period participating in community-based service learning that discovered an extensive, substantial amount of sub-themes. And we have here is listed time management, leadership skills, self-confidence, connection with community members, moving forward, reflection and critical thinking. All these sub-themes just confirmed that the service learning met the goals of the investigated learning goals set for this research study. And also the data showed 3 key areas for program improvement to become more impactful, more effective, specifically for the language learning piece. And based on the data, we discovered these 3 areas that needs closer attention in order to develop a sustainable service learning program. And that includes incorporating reciprocal language learning, which means expanding opportunities for student and community members to advance NGMU mission to serve both communities on campus and off campus. Secondly, we have providing additional time to learn community members. And this is an essential improvement to expand current service learning practices to align with NGMU mission of fostering inclusive communities as a part of our institutional mission. Thirdly, we have effectively pair students with community members. And the key to improvement is advocacy for increased language study opportunities on campus that reflect NGMU mission. As mentioned earlier, the data analysis involved to use an open system evaluation tool for program assessment. Notably, the funding are significant because it revealed the improvement in 3 crucial areas of student development, as we have it here listed under the impact that the program cost on students: increase in cultural awareness, increase in civic engagement, increase in motivation to learn languages and culture. And that are remarkable results as well. Moving forward here, the study result demonstrated the practical application of theories. One of these theories is the ACTF 5C, which the American Council on Teaching of Foreign Languages uses to outline the goal areas of its world readiness standards for learning languages. The second theory is David Kolb, experiential learning theory, which transforms learners' knowledge, skills, and attitudes as evident by the emerged teams and sub-teams. Examining these theories and their application in real-world settings provide valuable insight into strengthening NGMU mission. This mission aims to enhance education and communities through experiential learning and community service. The finding of this research can help our institution develop an effective strategies for teaching practices to fulfill our commitment to addressing real-world issues that exist and are ongoing in our community. And as we see on the right side, the emerged significant themes that impacted students from participating in the program. Moving forward, the study outlined action steps for NGMU to implement and complete its mission successfully. Action number 1, foster inclusive community engagement by acknowledging our student diversity. Action step 2, supporting staff members and faculty in developing community partnership and implementing service learning projects and activities. Number 3, increase institutional support for language and cultural learning in diverse communities that reflect our student profiles and backgrounds. Action step number 4, implement an effective communication strategy between institutions, academia, and community partners to develop impactful, sustainable service learning programs and activities. The study limitation included the first limitation is the study was conducted in a small phase-based institution in our NGMU. Second limitation, small size sample, which are small size sample was only 6 students, freshmen and sophomore that also represent the lower level of university student that could have influenced the results in some degree. And also all the participants were females. Another limitation mentioned in the study is that the researcher was also a staff member in NGMU that have influenced students' responses and reflective writing. And lastly, the limitation could be the student that may not fully grasp their own self-development, since they were interviewed right within 2 weeks window after the program was concluded. So for self-development, to understand where the skills and knowledge we gained from experience does require time and circumstances or another experience to acknowledge what we have learned. Suggesting for future research, there's a significant need to explore research in the area of establishing reciprocal relationship strategies between institutions and community partners in order to have collaborative work and mutual understanding in order to meet the learning goals set for service and learning at the same time. Secondly, research area related to service learning and specifically in e-service learning project is a part of the core curriculum, especially for non-traditional students who are more visible on our campuses, who usually are who are visible that they juggle full-time jobs or they have family responsibility, and they're not always able to commit to service learning after school. So considering e-service learning project can expand and maximize opportunities for all type of students we have on our campuses. Thirdly, here, further research on service learning in language and cultural context within K-16 education to implement in consistent and sustainable framework in implementation and application service learning projects that will support to from very young age to have students who are service oriented, culturally, linguistically equipped from young age, and just with the education level, they can just advance and expand their skills and knowledge. Conclusion, the evaluation of this program confirmed that service learning does support student development and civic engagement, language skills, cultural awareness, and also motivate students for learning, as well as continue to participate in community engagement. Also, the research supported us to develop action steps for NDMU mission to create more sustained study with service learning component. The study also supported with discovery that the all ACF T5C goals, the communication, connection, culture, comparison communities were united through service learning project and philosophy application. And that's remarkable accomplishment because that can actually take us forward for another research, just discovering that all united, all 5 Cs were accomplished here. Moving forward, we have service learning also confirmed the theory of David Kolb experiential learning that which transfers students internally through their experiential learning in service learning, which is always also embodied in the service learning philosophy. The study confirmed that service learning is a powerful tool for advancing language, culture, personal development, while fostering student growth with their diverse communities. Thank you. Questions?
Okay, well done, Zeina. Excellent. Yeah, let's open it up for questions.
And maybe stop sharing your screen so we can see everybody's faces.
I don't always forget this for some reason. I don't know what. Oh, here, sorry. Oh, stop sharing. All right. Okay. All right. Can you see me now? It's
Yes.
Yes.
perfect. Perfect.
Well, I can go first. Zeina, I have a question, and I'm speaking as a parent now. So my children, I have two high school children, and obviously you and I have had discussions about language learning, and it's very important to me. I want them to know. So what do you want high school students to come in with? So like in an ideal world, right? So you're focused at the college level. In an ideal world, what do you want them coming in with?
I think the most important, I would love them to come with motivation. I think this is the key component to education in general. And if the student is motivated and have interest in studying any subject, now here we are discussing language and culture, right? And civic engagement, which goes with leadership skills and so on. But I think the most important component is the motivation level, that students are motivated to study, because that it's often it's an issue. The students not really always have the motivation to learn because maybe they don't see the potential of learning, or based on one study, there was one student said, I just don't see any value with my time spending learning languages, and it's a waste of time and money. So I think just drawing the outline for students that, hey, this is a promising way of learning. And at the same time, you're not just getting knowledge in the sense of linguistically and culturally, but also other self-development, which we had it here in this study. That's, leadership skills, which are crucial now in any employment places, public speaking, and leading students. So I think it's just the service learning itself brings the missing piece which students really are looking for. And this is what brings the real world learning. And I believe the younger generation, with all the available technology, they need that. It's not working anymore just reading from books line by line, and it's just not sufficient anymore. You really need to be out there and learn through observation. So I think this is really critical, especially now with our educational system. So providing that opportunity, as I mentioned in my research suggestion for future research, providing this framework from young age, from kindergarten to up to 16 education system, going from very, very young age, and putting students out there to community service is just, it can bring remarkable results from young age. Being service oriented from young age, it just can benefit our generation, our country, our communities, and it will be just ongoing. And I believe it should be a part of educational system as a mandatory and a part of core curricula that students need to engage in service learning and that are relevant to the subject they're studying.
Okay.
I wonder if, like, when you're talking about motivation to learn language, I mean, just thinking about my own life and where I grew up, it seems like there's a lack of curiosity about the world outside of the US borders. I mean, that gets, we get inculcated with that from our media, and it's really sad. And I think that's why a lot of younger people don't see the utility in it. So I'm soapboxing a little. I have a question. I saw in your conclusions, you said that students improved their language through the service audit. Can you talk a little more detail about how you were able to infer that from your data?
Yeah, sure. So the students, they improved their languages. So we had some students were matched with mentees who don't share the same language with the students study, or they wanted to practice. But for example, we had one student in the study that she was matched with she studied Spanish before, and she was matched with a Spanish speaker mentee, and that showed just an increase in her communication skills and cultural awareness, and all the 5 C's goals were basically connected in her learning, communication, and understanding the cultural piece of the language itself. And another students who were not matched with mentees who speak the language students study, like for example, Arabic or Pashto or Swahili, they themselves start downloading apps with languages. They went to the library to pick sources, and they start writing, and even in reflection entries, they would write that, oh, I downloaded this, I did that, and I did this outline, and I know how to say these words, how to introduce myself in that language. And they had no idea. Like one student, for example, said, I had no idea that Pashto actually exists, that language like a Pashto exists, and they are part of my community. And just, they said really a lot of value that first of all, acknowledging and learning that there are no traditional languages that are a part of our community members. And at the same time, the community interaction boosted their interest to learn. And this is only 10 weeks window when students participated in service learning and getting all these remarkable results. I believe it's a promising way to expand and to purposely connect it and bridge with academic materials with the language student want to learn, in order to increase their language skills and cultural awareness.
So maybe the policy recommendation is with respect to community service, like it should involve some interaction with individuals who aren't from your own cultural background or, you know, your own country.
Absolutely, because I believe the differences, it's what really connects us here in understanding. And at the same time, when you interact with diverse population, and the same time you start evaluating yourself and your culture and your background and learning about yourself, what I really believe in, what are my, perspective. And when I interact with other community members who are from very different worlds, and I learn about their perspective and how they see life. I mean, it's incredible interaction because I'm learning about myself, and at the same time I'm learning about different perspective from community members who is, for example, my neighbor, right? And how they see their life. And it's absolutely remarkable for both sides, not just the student, for the community members as well.
Yep, it's really true. You don't know how American you are until you leave the country.
Right.
Yeah, for example, right?
And
Yep.
that was actually something that came, I can't say I was surprised, but when you had a couple quotes from students in chapter 4, and one was from a woman that spoke Spanish at home and then was matched with a Spanish speaking mentee and realized how little formal Spanish she had because of her home use in her home community, and the dialect was different. And I was like, wow, it was something that surprised me, and I think it was something that surprised her. And I just kind of thought that was interesting. And then another one was from a student that said that, all that she had known about the Arabic culture or a Muslim culture was what she had seen on social media. And then, being introduced to someone that was actually from that background that could kind of dispel all of those stereotypes, I guess, I think is what she said. And that was just something that was like, okay, if we are broadening our students' minds by giving them firsthand experience with something, and they're motivated, increasing their motivation to continue that kind of dialogue, then I think we've done our job. As faculty, as a volunteer coordinator, the service learning coordinator, you've done your job, and I think that's amazing.
The comment here is another question for you, Zeina. In your research, I think what came out is that you really uncovered that there's a big diversity within diversity. So we have this notion that diversity is one definition, and you've really kind of expanded that to, look, we have all these different things with communities, and you work with ACTFL and looking at the community aspect of the standards is absolutely incredible. The other comment I have is that I think you know this, but because of your direct impact of your work here, I've expanded what I'm doing in foreign language at Notre Dame, and also in the community working. I happen to know Father Joe moved from a whole different place other than Notre Dame, and I'm working this fall with some immigrant populations to teach them English with the Immigration Service Center. So through your dissertation, you've had an impact in 2 different areas, and just a small one, but it's still an impact.
Oh, excellent. That's really, I'm so pleased to hear that. It's incredible.
It's really a beautiful project, what you have here. Just the findings. They're heartwarming, and they make me feel more optimistic about young people in some way. Yeah.
Well, and the mission of Notre Dame is actually still really good. It's good, it's vibrant, and it's applicable. And we can certainly look at expanding that, or just, Dr. Durham, as you said, sort of the policy implications here are just, they're pretty wide.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, just bringing the real world. And we're very fortunate that we're in Baltimore, because Baltimore is home for many immigrants and many people, for diversity in general. And it's another way to think about it. It's bringing study abroad here. Like you don't have to travel abroad in order to interest communities and learn languages. You really just need to step few steps out of our campus and look at the diversity. and acknowledge and the values that they bring with their backgrounds and languages and perspective. It all depends what subject we want to learn. A lot of these students who participated in the program, they don't they're nursing, they want to be medical doctors, and I can't even explain after the program how many students reach out to me that they want to do this again. And it's much more students, and I have about 35 students who are asking they want to participate in the program and what they can do, because they heard just from their colleagues how impactful that was. And they want, like, I want to learn public speaking, I want to coach, I want to learn how they see things, and I want to also learn how is the healthcare in their back at home. I may conduct a research in the future. So I need these intercultural competency in order to understand these communities. So there is much more can be developed, and just even moving forward, we can consider like international service learning, right? Sending students abroad, these communities in Africa and Middle East, wherever it's sustainable and peaceful and like safe for our students. But there is so many opportunities for research projects, and that only contribute to self-development and the student knowledge, as well as to our institution commitment to be an inclusive community and to implement experimental education.
I hope you'll work on publishing some findings from this study. There's probably more than one paper here too.
Yeah. There's a lot of things can be done, honestly. I feel so pleased that I was able to do it, and I had a great committee. And from the day one, you all were absolutely amazing. And I would not be here today standing in front of you if not you were there by my hand, helping and supporting, pushing left and right, do this and that. And I love it. That's how I learned and I grew. So thank you. I sincerely thank you for everything.
Is there any more questions? Okay. All right, Zeina, I'm gonna put you just in the waiting room for a second, if I can.
Sure.
There it is. Okay.
And you can turn off the recording.
Yes, getting that.